The street buzzed with tension, every passerby frozen like prey, sensing a predator. At the center, a young man had another boy pinned to the ground. His fists a relentless storm, the sound of leather hitting flesh, muffled cries, and the shrill screech of car alarms filled the night air. One craned her neck, eyes wide, trying to see past the crowd. She whispered to a nearby woman, curiosity overriding fear. Why is he hitting him like that? The woman swallowed, glancing around as if expecting the man to hear. You don't want to know that boy. That's Jungkook Joon. He loses it over everything. That car he's so pissed about. It's worth more than half the street. Wine's lips twist, a faint, incredulous smile forming despite the horror. Wow, someone scratches his card and he turns into this. That smile, careless sentence cut through the chaos. Jungkook froze, his fist midair. Slowly he lifted his head, his dark eyes scanned the crowd, then looked on her. You talking shit about me? His voice was low, dangerous, and coarse, carrying the edge of someone who might kill on impulse. Wine felt the heat of fear crawl up her spine, but her voice stayed calm, almost daring. Okay, as you say, a flicker of amusement and something darker crossed his face. The boy beneath him whimpered, trembling, but Jungkook didn't even notice. Instead, his attention remained fixed on her. Bull, you have no idea how dangerous that is talking like that. He took a step closer, his presence overpowering, scent of expensive cologne and leather filling her senses. Most people piss themselves just looking at me. Maybe some people should be scared, but not everyone. She met his gaze, fragile yet unflinching. Maybe they should see what happens when they don't run. A slow smirk tugged at the corner of his lips. He crouched slightly, as if testing her, the tension coiling around them like a predator stalking prey. Most girls like you, they scream, cry, beg you. You're different, I like different. His voice dipped low, dangerous, a warning wrapped in curiosity. You should wash your mouth, though it might get you killed. Wine swallowed hard, heart pounding, yet her feet refused to move. She felt it the terrifying pull of someone she shouldn't even be near. The dark storm that was Jungkook Joon, who is he really? And just like that, the boy who could destroy lives with a single punch became a mystery she couldn't forget. The night had barely settled when a black luxury car rolled up the driveway. It seemed pouring like a predator ready to strike. The headlights cut through the dimly lit garden, reflecting off the marble floors inside Wine's house. Her mother's hands trembled as she adjusted the lace of her sari, sensing the presence of someone she couldn't refuse. Bodyguards flanked the door, silent and imposing, as though even the walls themselves dared not to move. Mother, who is it? Wine whispered, her voice fragile, almost swallowed by the heavy atmosphere. It's Joan Hunchik. Her hands clenched the edge of the dining table, knuckles white. The Mafia lord. The door slammed open with a force that rattled the windows. A tall man stepped inside. Aura sharp as knives, his eyes scanned the room like he was hunting prey, yet they lingered on Wine for a heartbeat longer than necessary. Good evening. His voice was deep, commanding, and icy. I hope you saved me some hospitality. He didn't wait for an answer, stepping closer, every movement deliberate. I have come for an arrangement. Mother stammered, her face pale. I don't, whatever you ask, sir, I'll do. Joan's gaze didn't waver. He turned slowly, his eyes landing on wine, fragile in her nightgown, hair slightly messy from worry. You step aside from your illusions of safety. One of your daughters will marry my son tonight, and don't bother asking why. I don't like refusals. Wine felt her breath catch. Her mind spun. She couldn't move, couldn't speak. She wanted to cry, scream, run, but she was frozen under his gaze. I'll choose her. She looked at Wine, torn between desperation and resignation. Wine, you, it must be you for the family. Once just tightened her heart, pretending to break from the weight of it. She stepped forward slowly, hands clutched to her chest, eyes wide. Mother, I can't. Her voice trembled. I'm not ready. I don't know him. John Hyun-shik's lips curled into a subtle, terrifying smirk. John Hyun-shik, doesn't matter what you want, child. Tonight, it happens and you'll obey. The rest of the room seemed to blur the fear, the tension, the suffocating weight of the Mafia Lord's presence. Wine's mind raced, but before she could protest further, a black clad figure entered behind John Hyun-shik, and then she saw him. Her eyes widened, her heart skipping violently. The boy from earlier, the one who had beaten a man so ruthlessly in the streets, was standing there. Tall, dangerous, his eyes scanning her like she was both prey and fascination. So, this is the little angel my father picked for me. His voice was low, coarse, and rough, carrying the same menace from the streets. Yet now wrapped in a cold curiosity, one's legs nearly buckled. She staggered back, barely steadying herself against the chair. It's him, the boy, the one from the street. Jungkook smiled, stepping closer. His presence was suffocating yet somehow magnetic. Don't look so terrified. I like terrified. Please just try to understand it's for the family. One's thoughts collided with panic, confusion, and a strange, involuntary intrigue. She didn't know if she should be angry, scared, or watch him. He was unpredictable. Violent, yes, but there was something unspoken under that dangerous exterior. Joan Hunchik's voice cut through sharply. Enough, the arrangements are done. You will marry tonight, and no tears, no winning, no excuses. My son doesn't tolerate weakness. One felt her stomach drop, her fragile hands pressing against her chest. She took a hesitant step forward, then another, realizing there was no escape. Okay, as you say, her voice barely audible, fragile yet defiant in the smallest way she could muster. Jungkook's gaze lingered, dark and intense. The storm from the streets was still in him, but now it was directed at her, and she realized this marriage would not just bind them legally, but entangle their fates in ways she couldn't imagine. As the room fell into a tense, suffocating silence, one's mind screamed. One thought, I'm married to him, the one I feared, the one I can't escape. The car ride was suffocatingly silent. One pressed her hands together on her lap, staring out the tinted window at the dark streets. Her thoughts refused to settle. The memory of Chunguk's violent outbursts on the street mingled with the shock of being married to him. Ahead, the mansion emerged like a fortress. Black stone walls towered against the night sky, and guards flanked the long driveway. Motionless and foreboding, it looks like a castle. Her voice trembled slightly, awe and unease mingling. Jungkook reclined in the seat beside her, eyes dark as storm clouds. His gaze followed her, intense and readable. Castle or cage makes no difference. You're inside now. Wine swallowed hard, her chest tightening. I have never seen a place like this. The car rolled onto the marble driveway, doors opened automatically, revealing the cold grandeur of the mansion, high ceilings, glimmering chandeliers, and shadows moving silently along the walls. Servants glided past, expressionless like ghosts of etiquette. A tray slipped from a servant's hands with a loud crash. Chunguk's body tensed instantly. What the hell did you do? His voice snapped, echoing like a whip. Wine instinctively stepped closer to the trembling servant. It was just an accident, sir, please. For a fleeting moment, his storm of anger faltered, replaced by a tense exhale. Jungkook muttered under his breath, fingers curling into fists. Damn it. Why do I let little things get under my skin? One's lips pressed together, something inside her softened, sensing the fragile humanity beneath his dangerous exterior. Everyone makes mistakes. You don't have to punish them so harshly. He turned to her slowly, eyes locking on hers. His smirk was faint, almost a challenge. Most girls talk and tremble back for mercy, not you. You actually speak, that's unusual. Maybe someone needs to say things that are true, even to you. Her voice was soft, fragile, but firm. The rest of the tour was a tense dance of observation and restraint. Guards moved like shadows, and Chuguk's eyes constantly scanned for threats. Yet, whenever a potential danger passed too close to Wine, he subtly stepped forward, protective, silent, darkly possessive. Later, in a dimly lit sitting room, they were alone. Wine fit get with the hum of her sleeve, her heart racing. I don't know how to be here with you. Chunguk leaned back, watching her with a predator's patience. You think you have a choice? Don't delude yourself. He paused, voice dropping low, almost a growl. But I'm curious, you are not like the other scared, winning weak. You are complicated. Wine's gaze didn't falter, though her hands stumbled slightly. Complicated can be good sometimes. Jungkook chuckled darkly, a sound that sent chills down her spine. We will see, Angel, we will see. His eyes softened briefly, a flicker of something vulnerable. Don't cross me, but don't hide from me either. One realized in that moment he was a storm, unpredictable and dangerous, yet moments of unexpected tenderness, subtle, fleeting, hinted at someone more than just the rage she had witnessed in the streets. The bedroom was washed, gold and immaculate marble floors, dark wood panels, and a bed large enough to swallow wine whole. The one warmth came from the dim golden glow of a single chandelier casting long shadows across the room. A maid stepped forward, cautiously carrying a tray of tea. Sir, your tea is. Before she could finish, Jungkook's sharp gaze landed on a small satin on the rug. In an instant, his temper ignited. What is this? The maid flinched, dropping the tray. The porcelain cups shattered across the floor. He grabbed a vase from the nightstand, flinging it across the room. It slammed into the wall with a deafening crash, sending shards flying. Once heart stopped, she jumped back instinctively, clutching her hands to her chest as she watched him destroy the room in seconds. Stop, please, she cried, her voice small but urgent. It's just a mistake. No one is hurt. The maid bolted, stumbling over the broken tea set, disappearing down the hallway. Chunguk's chest halved, eyes dark, pools of rage. His knuckles were white from gripping the edge of the dresser. The room vibrated with tension as if the walls themselves feared him. One stepped closer, cautiously, careful not to provoke him further. Her voice was soft but steady, a fragile anchor in the storm. I know you are angry, but destroying things won't help. It won't fix it. He turned to her, suddenly expression flashing between fury and surprise. He had not expected her to speak, to approach him. And why the hell do you care? His voice was a low growl, the menace in it almost physical. Wine didn't back down. She shook slightly but met his gaze because someone has to calm the storm, even if it's just for a moment. For a heartbeat, he stared at her. The fire in his eyes flickered and something softened almost imperceptibly, but it was there. His shoulders slumped slightly, the rage ebbing, replaced by a tension she could almost feel radiating from him. Jungkook muttered under his breath, voice rough, almost broken. Damn it, I can't control it sometimes. You took a careful step closer. Her voice barely rose above a whisper. It's okay, I understand. You don't have to be perfect. You just need someone to see, that's all. For the first time since she met him, Jungkook didn't explode. He leaned back against the wall, running a hand through his hair, breathing heavily. The storm inside him had paused, replaced by a raw vulnerability that Wine hadn't expected and that terrified and fascinated her at the same time. Jungkook's dark eyes finally met hers, intense but quieter now. You are not scared? Wine hesitated and shook her head gently. I'm scared, yes, but I want you to understand you even if it's dangerous. He exhaled sharply, the tension in his shoulders easing slightly, a faint smirk tugged at his lips, not playful, not soft, but a shadow of acknowledgement. You're insane. Wine managed a small, shaky smile. Maybe, but someone has to be. In this house, the room fell silent, the shards of broken porcelain glinting on the floor. Jungkook's anger hadn't vanished, it was still there, smoldering, but Wine had found the first fragile crack in his armor.